Hello, you beautiful people. Long time no see. Today, I have a co-star. We have Juliane.
Me.
So you've got a sneak peek of Juliane in my Buenos Aires video where I told you how we met. If you haven't heard about that, go watch that video. But today we're going to talk about our travels together. So in this video, I'm going to talk about our time in Texas. So it's going to be me going back to Texas, and it's going to be Juliane's first time ever visiting Texas. We're going to talk about what we did there. We're going to talk about how it felt to be back. And we're going to see some of Juliane's opinions about the American food, the American culture. So without further ado, let's get into our time in Texas. Okay, so how did we get to Texas? We flew from Cartagena, Colombia, and we made it to Austin, Texas. That's where I'm from. That's where my family lives. So that's where we flew to. And for me, the entry was nice and smooth, of course, because I'm a U.S. citizen. So I scanned my passport. I'm in, no questions. For Juliane, well, I'll let her tell you.
Yeah. So me, I am Brazilian, in case you were not following the story. It was actually my second time visiting US, but the first time I was like 14 years old to visit Disneyland, and it's not actually a trip, it's just inside Disney. So entering the country, entering the border, I got detained. They sent me to another room, and I noticed that, I'm not sure if it's a thing, but there was another girl, another Brazilian girl. There was a Russian family and another girl from Brazil, actually. And they were, I mean, the girls at least, they were crying, like crying rivers on that room. And so the officer, he checked my phone and he checked my bag. Everything fine, except for I was carrying his like medical pills and like just headache pills and stuff like that. But I was carrying on my big luggage. And the officer asked me, what are these? And I mean, I couldn't say because they were not mine. So that kind of got me in a bad shape. So everybody that was before me and even after me, like, were just passing people, and I was the only one staying in that room. I was getting very scared. Like, they were checking everything and no one was giving me answers. I think it was about 1 or 2 hours that I stayed there. I was the only one left. Officer was still checking, kind of with an angry face. And one of them went outside, talked to David, because I could not contact him, right? I was without my phone. They were checking my phone. So David and the officer talked a little bit, and then I could enter. But like, probably if David was not with me, I would be denied entering the US. So my heart was like exploding. I was crying so much after I left. Yeah, that was not a nice impression, I would say.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get denied entry. Like, we didn't have a contingency plan for if you don't get in, because why would you not get in? She has a visa, like everything's legal, there's no problems. They made it very difficult. So the welcome was not as warm as we were hoping for. After the situation with the airport staff, the airport security, whatever, we finally made it in, and we went back home to my ranch in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And the first thing that Juliane pulls up to see is a deer hanging in the tree, because my dad had just shot one to fill the freezer for the upcoming winter. So
Yeah, actually, I can even say that was my first time actually seeing a deer, because I never seen anything like that. Like, we don't have that much in Brazil, and if we do, it's way, way like far in the rural areas, and we don't have access to them. So it was my first time seeing a deer, and a dead one.
yeehaw, welcome to Texas. So for the first week, I think, we just stayed at a cabin on the ranch, basically, and we're country folk for a bit. So I showed her all the stuff that we do out there on the ranch, like chop wood. You got to chop wood with an axe.
Yeah, it was actually my dream chopping wood because, I mean, I play a lot of Red Dead Redemption, and I don't know why, but I really wanted to chop wood like we did in the game. And I, of course, failed in real life because it's too tough and I was scared of hurting myself.
We played golf, Juliane's first time playing golf. And we played our own version. There's a video on my channel if you haven't watched it. I'm going to plug another video. It's called Ranch Golf. So go and check out that video. You'll see what golf is like on the ranch. It's different than probably what you're expecting. So we played ranch golf. We had a little target practice where we set up cans in the field, and Juliane actually hit the cans, so that was impressive.
And also, it was my first time seeing the Milky Way at night.
The stars, yeah.
The
So
stars.
there's not a lot of light pollution out there at the ranch, so when you look up, you can actually see the stars. And that was Juliane's first time seeing that many stars.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I remember that. It was beautiful.
There's a song we have in Texas. If you're a Texan, you're already screaming this right now. The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
I think I heard that in HB or something like
It was
that.
probably for me. I don't know. And now we're going to talk about some of the firsts for Juliane, and we're going to show you her rankings of different American foods that she tried. And honestly, some of these are such a hot take for me, but that's okay. And we still love her. So I have pulled up for us the tier list of different foods that Juliane tried while she was there, and we're going to go through some of her rankings. Not every single one, but maybe just the top contentious opinions. All right, let's start off with the F tier. Maybe you can say what they are and quick thing about why you didn't like them.
So in my F tier, I place Cholula, which is a chili sauce.
My favorite.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of spicy anything, so straight F. Twizzlers, I tried first time I went to the US because we always saw this type of candies in movies. And the first time I tried, they were horrible. The second time I tried, they were also horrible. I don't like it. I don't know why people eat that. Root beer, extremely sweet, not on my taste. Is it deer jerky?
Deer jerky, venison jerky.
Yeah, deer jerky, it's just not for me. I don't like jerky in general, I guess. And what is the last one? Gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
I'm sorry, but that's not for me.
That's a shame because it's truly delicious. Okay, we're going to skip some of the middle ones because you can kind of get an idea for what they are just by looking at the pictures. Maybe you don't know what C is, so this first one on the C tier is sad for me, but that's Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex did not make it very high up the rankings. I'm disappointed, but what can you do?
And is it buffalo chicken wings?
Buffalo wings, yeah. Buffalo wings are one of my favorites also. That didn't make it very high up the list. But then we'll go to S tier. So talk about your S tier items here.
Oh yeah, I need to mention Dr. Pepper. Was my first time trying. I mean, we don't have this in Brazil, or if we have, it's imported, so it's 3-4 times the price of a regular soda like Coca-Cola. And I really like that. I became almost an addict of Dr. Pepper. Everywhere that we went to, I ordered something with Dr. Pepper. And I don't regret.
Cheez-Its, self-explanatory, no further description needed. And then the classic American breakfast. You liked the classic American breakfast?
Absolutely. Could have it every day.
In fact, we just had it today. So what else did we get up to in Texas? We did a couple of things, while we were there. One of them, I think, is a cannot miss first activity if you're coming to Texas for the first time ever, and that's going to the rodeo. So we went to the San Antonio Rodeo and got to see the bull riders, the bareback horse riders. We got to see the mutton busters, the kids that ride the lambs. And what did you think about the rodeo?
I really like it. I was expecting to be very messy because, like in Brazil, like some rodeos, they're very dirty, messy in the open air, and it was very, how can I say, very...
Like organized?
Yeah, very organized, very clean. Everybody had its seat in a closed arena, and it was fun for me to see bull riding for the first time in person. So I really like that. And we also got to try corn dog, which I also wanted to try, and I really like it.
The corn dog, though, freaking expensive. It was like a $17, $20 freaking corn dog. U.S. prices, I'm going to talk about you later, U.S. prices, but I do not like U.S. prices. We went to the bowling alley in Georgetown. So for reference, we stayed in Leander, which is about 40 minutes outside of Austin, if you're not familiar with it. It's just a small suburban town. And we went to a bowling alley nearby, which was super fun, actually. We didn't expect to have so much fun there, but I think what really made it next level was at the arcade. Like those games where you pull a lever and the thing has to go up a certain height? Somehow, I was the lucky person that pulled the lever and it went up the exact right height. So we had a jackpot of tickets on my first try pulling it. So then we got all kinds of prizes. I mean, we got sticky hands, we got bouncy balls, we got microphone, the karaoke microphone. I don't know, we got all kinds of stuff. So that was super fun.
We also had the Top Golf, which I never tried. Everything that I'm going to say here probably is going to be my first time trying because we don't have those type of things back in Brazil. So it was my first time trying Top Golf, and I had to say, I killed you on Angry Birds. How can I say that?
She whooped my butt on Angry Birds. There's a game mode at Top Golf where It's like you're playing Angry Birds when you hit the golf ball. Yeah, she smoked me.
Yeah, smoked. That's the word I wanted. I smoked him on Angry Birds.
We also had a lucky day, which is not very common in Texas, depending on where you're at, especially in the center of Texas, in central Texas. But we had a snow day, and that was Giuliani's first time ever seeing snow.
Yeah, it was my first time. I really wanted to see, like, it was one of my dreams to see snow. And luckily, we saw in Texas. I remember, like, at night, we went with a flashlight outside. It was beautiful. Like, it gave me goosebumps. And in the morning after it, I remember seeing all the roofs the street was basically all white. Mini Cooper didn't like that, but for me it was very pretty. I even made a small snowman. Yeah, that one.
We also did a few local sightseeing things, like walking around downtown Austin. So we took a light rail, which I didn't even know existed, but there's a light rail now that connects all the way to Leander. And we hopped on the light rail and then went to downtown Austin, walked around, got to see Zilker Park, got to see 6th Street, even though, I mean, we were there in the daytime, so not much going on at 6th Street during the day. And yeah, just generally explore around Austin and see what it's like there. So another thing we did is one of my friends lives down in Houston, and we drove the Mini Cooper to go see him for a weekend and hang out. And that was a really good time. If you're watching this, Matt, thanks for hosting us, bro. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, we went to go to Houston, and we tried, I don't know if it's a famous barbecue place there, because I don't remember the name of it, but we tried a good barbecue place there where Juliane had brisket. What else did you try?
There, in the brisket, not something different. We had mac and cheese and stuff, but we had the arcade and the bomb.
Tell them.
So we had an arcade, and we had something called Beat the Bomb. It was something like that,
Oh,
like
Beat the Bomb.
Puzzle game. Escape room, right? Escape room.
It's basically like a group activity where you go do games and puzzles and stuff like in different rooms. And I don't know, you'll have to look it up, but it was fun. Go ahead.
And we beat the bomb. And at the end, like, they asked us because we didn't need to. We completed the puzzle, so we can just go away. But at the end, if you fail, they're gonna spray you with some colorful paint or foam, if I'm not mistaken. So of course we chose to be sprayed with a lot of colorful paints, and it's quite strong, but it's very funny.
Yeah, so this is us getting absolutely blasted in slow-mo from the paint. So that was super cool. All right, so that's kind of an idea of what we did, but let's talk about how it felt to be there. So for me, I just gotten through for the last year making a bunch of decisions that drastically changed my life to go in a different direction. I quit my job in Seattle. I left Seattle entirely. I sold all the stuff that I had, except for the Mini Cooper. That stays with me. And I drove from Seattle to Texas. That's on my YouTube channel. Please check it out. And basically just made a bunch of decisions that was changing who I am, what I wanted in my life, everything. And I traveled South America for a few months. I met Juliane, so life was going in a different direction. And then I went back to Texas, and sometimes you expect to go home and feel like a comfort zone in your home. This one didn't feel for me like a comfort zone. It kind of felt like a step backwards, like you had already made these choices to be a different person, to go pursue a different path, to go do all these different things, and now you're back in the same place where you grew up. I don't know. It just felt like it felt different than I was expecting. I expected it to feel like, a comforting feeling. I'm home. I recognize all these places. It's familiar. It's cozy. I don't know. For me, it didn't really feel like that. What did it feel like for your first time?
Well, I felt a little bit scared because it was just when Trump got into the government, and they were talking, a lot of talks about immigrants and this ICE thing that is happening right now. And even because I almost got denied entry, I was very scared of going even to the grocery store. Even me being legal, I felt that I could be hunted somehow. And everything is too... People say that everything is bigger in Texas, and yeah, it is. So even driving, I had to drive the Mini at some point, and all the massive highways and all the big trucks behind me, and I was driving a small little Mini Cooper. It felt threatening. I didn't enjoy as much as I could. My time at the ranch was awesome, but I felt that was not my place to be there, unfortunately. I will still want to go to the US and visit other places, especially Utah, as we mentioned, but I didn't felt that welcome in that country.
So it's pretty tough, getting off to a rough start when you're entering the country, like getting detained for a couple of hours for extra questioning. And then, yeah, right when Trump gets into office is when we were there, and the headlines started to come out really, really soon after he took office about all these crackdowns on immigration. And yeah, like she said, she has a visa. We're there legally. Like, we're doing everything fine. But still, we were seeing stories about people getting detained and taken in for questioning for days at a time, even though they're there completely legally. And I didn't want any of that to happen. The odds of it happening to us, we know, probably pretty low. But still, it's in the back of your head when you're going places. A bit tough timing for us on that one. Will we be back in the U.S.? I think for sure. Obviously, there's a ton to see there. We only saw a small section of Texas. And Juliane really wants to go to other parts of the U.S. to go see some of the different nature and stuff. Like, she has a craving, like a strong desire to go see Utah. And actually, on my journey back from Seattle, I drove through Utah and did Moab and all of that for the first time as an adult. And yeah, we should go. It's awesome. So there's plenty of stuff to see in the U.S. The politics won't always be like this forever. We're not going to feel this uncomfortable forever. So I think it's just a timing thing. Right now, we're exploring outside of the U.S., but we'll probably be back to explore the U.S. again. The other thing that was interesting about being back in the United States is I had gotten so used to outside of the U.S. prices so fast, because in South America, things are just, 25 to 50% cheaper on average than what you're getting in the United States. So to come back was a bit of a sticker shock for random things. Like, anytime we would leave the house, it'd be $40. And we could just be going 5-minute run to H-E-B to go get orange juice. Somehow we'd come out spending $40. Don't know how. So that was a bit annoying. Like, the prices of stuff was very expensive. And that led to us staying at home a lot, which is fine because we don't mind staying home. But it built that internal feeling of like, okay, like, we don't have a job anymore. I'm not pulling on my big tech salary, so I got to make something happen. I didn't feel super, like I said, cozy to be back in Texas. I didn't feel like it was my home. So it gave me a strong motivation to do something, to build something, so I could continue to travel, live the lifestyle I wanted to live, and go in the direction that I had already set myself on track for. So that's where I got an idea to build StayMapper, and I started building it in Leander, and so far I've made a ton of progress on that thing. So if you don't know about StayMapper yet, I talk about it in some of my other videos, and I put it in the description of all my videos. But it's a website that I've built that helps people to get an idea of where's the best place to stay. So for us, we travel, and we're traveling slow. And when you're spending a month in a place, if you don't like the place you're at, the location, you've basically wasted thousands of dollars in a month's worth of your time. It's a real big hassle to travel somewhere and have a terrible place to stay in terms of what's around you, what's nearby, if it's safe, like all of those kind of factors that they go into your accommodation. So I built StayMapper to help make that process way easier, way better for someone like us. That was a good thing that came out of my time in the United States. And also, Juliane has a similar story with her website. I'll let her tell you about that.
Yes, so actually I had this idea with me for more than 7-8 years, but I never actually had the tools that I needed to create, which is a brand that sells t-shirts with car designs, especially for girls, because I am a car girl, and I used to love them. I was obsessed with them when I was younger. Yeah, he's actually wearing one. And so I always wanted to have with my design something more personal, something that would fit me. So I started this business back in Argentina. But for you start something from scratch and without anyone or anything to guide you, because I had no idea. I never had a business before. I don't know how having a brand and making a brand with shirts or everything else works. So it was everything new for me. And this took me a lot of time to learn and a lot of time to get going. But it took me some time to get going, to have something that I really liked and to publish. I had my website, but it was not pretty. And actually David, helped me push my website to become a bit better, because I mean, I had an idea how to create a website, but not to actually make it work and pretty, right? You need to have something useful and something good for your eyes. So I worked on my website. I launched my website. I'm starting to launch some campaigns. Happily, I'm getting sales. So yeah, I would say thanks to David pushing me that hard because I need it. I need this thing going, and I don't know where I'm going exactly, but we have this thing that we help each other. We push each other to get the best, and it's happening, right? Our business are on. Our business are on.
Being in the United States really did help kind of kickstart our business journey because we didn't have anything else to do. We didn't really have the means to afford much else to do. And it was winter, so we're kind of stuck inside. It's cold outside. Weather's kind of gross. What do? You just lock in. So we locked in for a couple of months, and it made a ton of progress for us on our websites. And yeah, so we have that to be thankful for our time in the U.S. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We spent a couple of months in Texas. We got to try some unique Texas things, like the San Antonio Rodeo and like fried okra, Southern food, biscuits and gravy. Some general American things, like Dr. Pepper, Cheez-Its, driving around on the highways, because the U.S. is very car dependent. So yeah, we got to try some interesting things in the United States, things that were good, things that weren't so good. Ultimately, I think our time there was nice and very useful for us. Of course, like we just mentioned, we started our businesses there, pushed them to be better. So that was pretty cool. But at the end of the day, it was time to go, We had 2 months there. We were ready to wrap it up and get on to the next place. So what we did, basically we packed one big suitcase, like one under the plane suitcase. I don't know if that has a name. Does it have a name? The luggage that goes under the plane, does that have a name? If it does, put it in the comments because I'm having a brain fart right now trying to remember what that's called. And yeah, we packed one each and then we went on our way to Bangkok. So we planned this actually while we were in Colombia. We had booked our tickets at a cafe in Medellin. So we had already known the whole time we were in Texas, like we're going to Bangkok next. So that also was in our minds. We're like, okay, yeah, let's ready for the next adventure. Let's go to Southeast Asia. We've both never been before. So that's what we did. We packed our bags. We got on a plane. We flew from Austin to San Francisco and San Francisco to Bangkok. All in all, from one airport to the final airport was 27 hours of travel.
Forgot to mention that we had this stop in Taiwan as well.
Yeah, so we had another stop in Taipei because we had to switch planes again. So a long day of travel to get to Bangkok. But that's how we got to Southeast Asia, and now we've been in Southeast Asia for 5 months, something like that.
5-6 months, yeah. Totally worth it.
5-6 months. And we have plenty of more stories from our time here in Southeast Asia, including some juicy ones about some specific countries we will come to mention in the future. We have opinions, strong ones, that we've formed about our time here. So follow along for the journey. We're just getting started on our storytelling and our recounting of all the stuff we've already been up to. And once we catch up to where we're in present day, then we're going to show you stuff about what we're actually doing now and things around us. And so there's a lot of stuff in the future coming up on this channel. So feel free to subscribe if you want to see it, because I think you're going to like what you see. Also subscribe for Juliane.
Oh yeah, subscribe for me, yeah. I am checking.
Comment something good, I'll comment something back to you.
If you comment something bad, you're talking to me.
If you comment something bad, she's going to get you. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you around in the next one. And keep it classy. Peace.